Saturday morning, 10 a.m., your friend wakes up. No messages demanding answers. No sudden shifts in energy to decode. No invisible tripwires waiting in everyday conversations. Coffee, gym, an afternoon spent building something meaningful. You? 3 conflicts before lunch. Over things that weren't problems until someone made them problems. You're managing a crisis that materialized out of thin air. Explain yourself for the 4th time this week, while your friend exists in a world where mental energy actually belongs to the person who generates it. That gap, that contrast, that freedom they have that you don't. It's not random. It's not bad luck. It's a choice you made. And every single day you stay, you're making it again. But here's what nobody discusses. Why does that gap exist in the first place? What your nervous system already recognizes, but your mind refuses to accept. In some relationships, the chaos isn't a malfunction. It's the operating system. Not every relationship, obviously, but enough that millions of people entered partnerships expecting peace and discover they'd signed up for permanent turbulence. Think about your friends yesterday. Work without interruptions. Exercise at their own rhythm. Conversations that stayed focused for longer than 30 seconds. Sleep when tired. Not after hours of dissecting a 3-day-old comment that apparently revealed some hidden deficiency in emotional availability. Their day had architecture. Yours had chaos. Their mind belonged to them. Yours was leased out to manage someone else's internal weather patterns. And here's the devastating part. You've been convinced their freedom equals loneliness and your chaos equals love. When did you last wake up without your first thought being about managing someone's mood? Your friend isn't managing anything. They're just existing. That baseline neutrality you've forgotten, because in your world, neutrality never survives longer than 48 hours. For some people, your peace isn't a goal. It's a threat. A person at peace isn't constantly thinking about their partner. A person at peace is focused, autonomous, directed toward personal objectives. And for someone whose entire sense of value depends on your reaction to them, your peace registers as abandonment, so it gets destroyed. Not always consciously, not always with malicious intent, but the result stays the same. Problems materialize from nothing. Comments become confrontations. Glances become interrogations. Suddenly you're in a fight you didn't see approaching about an issue that didn't exist 5 minutes earlier. And while you're trying to restore calm, try to inject logic into an emotional storm, your friend is acquiring new skills, closing deals, or simply enjoying the fact that their Saturday belongs to them. Focus on this. Your friend has momentum. You have maintenance. They're building. You're managing. They're moving forward. You're circling. Try to identify what you did wrong this time. The energy you expend navigating manufactured crises is energy they invest in themselves. That gap compounds weekly. They're 6 steps ahead while you're trapped in emotional quicksand. Try and convince a grown adult that you actually care, despite proving it 47 times this month. This isn't about whether someone is inherently bad. This is about chaos functioning as a tool. Many people have learned that chaos is the most efficient method to keep a partner's attention locked on them. Communication requires vulnerability. Chaos just requires volume. Communication requires honesty. Chaos just requires unpredictability. Your friend doesn't deal with this because nobody in their life has a vested interest in keeping them off balance. Their equilibrium threatens no one, but your equilibrium, that's problematic. Because if you're stable, centered, operating from clarity, someone can't control the framework. And control, not connection, is often what's actually being optimized. Let's discuss the mood shift. You know the one. Everything's fine. You're watching something, having dinner, existing in a normal Saturday evening. Then the atmosphere changes. Energy shifts. Coldness. Short responses. You ask what's wrong. Nothing. You know it's not nothing. So you start detective work. Was it something you said? Something you didn't say? Did you look wrong? Not look enough? You spend 2 hours solving a puzzle created specifically to make you chase validation. Meanwhile, your friend is asleep by 10 because they don't have to manage someone else's emotional temperature. They don't have to be therapist, mind reader, and emotional punching bag in the same evening. Their evening ended when they got tired. Yours continues because theirs isn't finished. And it won't finish until you've sufficiently demonstrated that they are the center of your universe. That's the transaction. Instability gets created. You provide reassurance. Peace gets withheld. You work hard to earn it back. And while you're doing that, your friend is investing in themselves, stacking wins, building something that will actually matter in 5 years. Watch this carefully. The problem isn't meant to be solved. Notice that? You offer solutions, logical pathways to resolution, sensible compromises, and the goalposts move. Suddenly, it's not about the original issue. It's about your tone, then about how you never listen, then about something from 3 months ago you thought was resolved. The issue is just the entry point. The goal is exhaustion. They want to see you frustrated, confused, working overtime to figure them out. That effort, that labor, that's how value gets measured. If you're not exhausted, they don't feel loved. Think about your friend right now. Not exhausted, not drained, not questioning if they're enough. They know they're enough because nobody is systematically dismantling their self-perception for sport. Their worth isn't interrogated every 72 hours. They just exist. And that existence is peaceful. Yours is conditional. Your peace depends on someone's mood. That mood depends on whether you've proven yourself recently. And the standards for proof keep rising. It's never enough. It will never be enough. Because if it were enough, the game would end. And the game must continue. That's where the power lives. Not in partnership, not in collaboration, but in the endless cycle of you proving and them evaluating. Your friend isn't being evaluated. They walk into their own space, and the environment is neutral. The energy is stable. There's no psychological warfare disguised as a relationship. Here's what most people miss. It's not just about what you're losing. It's about what you're preventing. Every hour spent managing chaos is an hour not spent building your legacy. Every ounce of mental energy burned decoding mood swings is energy not invested in health, business, purpose, growth. You're not just treading water. You're actively preventing yourself from swimming. And someone benefits from that because a person who is too exhausted, too confused, too emotionally drained to pursue full potential is a person who will never outgrow the relationship. That's the hidden mechanism. Keep you weak enough that leaving never becomes realistic. Keep you functional enough to provide, but broken enough that you never realize you deserve better. And I'll say this clearly, even though half the people hearing it will call extreme, some people don't want you to win. They want you to stay. And those two goals are often incompatible. A person who wins, who builds, who becomes their highest version, that person has options. That person has standards. That person can walk away. But a person who's been beaten down, told for years are not enough, that their efforts are insufficient, that their love is inadequate, that person stays. Not because they're loyal, because they're trapped in the belief they can't do better. Years spent convincing you that this chaos is normal, that relationships are supposed to be hard, that love is work. But your friend isn't working. They're living. And the life they're living is objectively more peaceful, more productive, and more aligned with actual potential than yours. That's not coincidence. That's the cost of entry. You wanted companionship. You got chaos. You wanted partnership. You got a full-time emotional management position you never applied for. You wanted love. You got a system designed to extract peace and replace it with anxiety disguised as intimacy. Your friend doesn't have intimacy the way you do, but they also don't have the anxiety. They don't have sleepless nights. They don't have a knot in their stomach walking through their own front door. They don't have the mental loop, replaying conversations, trying to identify where they went wrong. Their mind is quiet. Yours is loud. Their day is theirs. Yours belongs to someone's mood. Their future is open. Yours is conditional on whether you can finally become enough for someone who's already decided you're not. That's the trade. And nobody tells you the trade is happening until you're 5 years in. And you look at your friend and realize they're thriving while you're surviving. The more you realize this, the angrier you'll get. And that anger is justified. You've been sold a lie. You've been told sacrifice is love, suffering is commitment. Chaos is just part of the deal. But your friend isn't suffering. They're not sacrificing sanity for someone else's ego. They're living in alignment with their own values. And that alignment, that peace, it's not something you lost because you're in a relationship. It's something you gave away to someone who saw it as a commodity to be traded for control. You gave your peace thinking it would be protected. Instead, it was weaponized. Your desire for calm was transformed into a weakness that could be exploited whenever someone needed to feel important. And they'll keep doing it until you have nothing left, because there's no limit. There's no point where they say, okay, that's enough. They've proven themselves. The goalpost moves. The standard rises. The expectations compound. And you get smaller and smaller while they get louder and louder. Think about your friend one more time. Not smaller. Not shrinking. Not apologizing for existing. Not spending 20% of their day managing someone else's emotional weather. Not questioning if they're enough. Not replaying conversations at 2 a.m. Just sleeping because they're free. And you're in prison. A prison you walked into willingly because you believed a lie that partnership requires surrendering peace. But it doesn't. Healthy partnership amplifies peace. Toxic partnership destroys it. And you've been living in the latter so long you forgot the former even exists. The silence your friend lives in isn't loneliness. It's sovereignty. The freedom they have isn't isolation. That's what life is supposed to feel like when it's not being hijacked by someone who confuses chaos with connection. You can have that again, but not while you're spending days trying to prove you care to someone who's made a sport out of never being satisfied. This isn't about blame. This is about recognizing a pattern and deciding whether you want to spend the rest of your life inside it. Your friend made a choice. They chose themselves. They chose peace over performance. They chose freedom over the illusion of intimacy. And you can make that choice too. But it requires stopping the lie you tell yourself about what you're getting in return for everything you're giving. You're not getting love. You're getting chaos. You're not getting a partnership. You're getting a second job. You're not getting intimacy. You're getting intermittent reinforcement designed to keep you addicted to highs because the lows are so devastating. Your friend isn't addicted to anything. They're just free. And that freedom is available to you the moment you stop accepting chaos as the price of companionship. The peace you're looking for exists. It's waiting. But it's not in a toxic relationship. It never was. It's in a decision to stop trading your sovereignty for someone else's validation. Your friend figured that out. The question is, when are you going to? So here's the real question. How much longer are you going to wait? Your friend isn't luckier than you. They're not stronger. They're not special. They just made one decision you haven't made yet. They chose peace. They chose freedom. They chose themselves. And that same choice is sitting right in front of you. Right now, if this video woke something up inside you, if you felt that knot in your stomach loosen, even for a second, then do something about it. Hit that subscribe button, because this channel exists for one reason: to remind you that you deserve better than chaos disguised as love. Smash that like button if you're ready to stop explaining yourself to someone who's never satisfied. Drop a comment with one word: Freedom. Let me know you're done trading your peace for someone else's validation. Look, 5 years from now, you're either going to look back at this moment as the day everything changed, or the day you almost changed but didn't. Your single friend already made their choice. They're building. They're thriving. They're free. The only question left is, when you even join them, subscribe, like, comment freedom. Your future self is counting on you. I'll see you in the next one. Now, go choose yourself.